What? Well, the light just fell. Be quiet. I'm about to do this presentation to you before I've even edited the video, because I've just taken what I have, shoved it all together and sped it all up. So you can watch it, but I'm going to commentate during it. How we doing? We're good? We're good? Yeah, we're good. Okay. Feels like I should have done something else. So, of course, this is day 2 of the digger. I spent about 2 hours the day before, and I'm about to spend another 2 hours on the digger. By this point, I'm actually feeling quite comfortable with operating it, and I kind of get into a bit of a rhythm. A lot of the times I've got to get in there, move a few things, and then try and pick up a big rock and move the rock somewhere else. I don't have any training, so I'm not entirely sure how you're supposed to use the digger to pick something up. You actually do need to be somewhat coordinated here. There is a sort of a sequence of events that you've got to do to kind of allow the digger to pick it up and then to sort of move it, because your actions with the little levers determine what the digger arm is doing. And I'll try and give you a bit of a visual. When you are operating the digger, for instance, say you want to pull the digger arm towards you, you've got 2 controls at the front which allow the tracks to go forward and back, and then there's 2 joysticks on either side. On the right hand side, the joystick basically allows you to go left, right, front and back, and they translate to, I'm just trying to remember this, I think they go, the left and right is to bring the bucket, to tilt the first articulation of the bucket, and then the front and back allows the bucket to swing out on the second one. And then on the other side, that does the same with the arm, so the arm can go up and down with the moving it that way. Left and right allows the next extension to move in and out. So you kind of have to do this kind of sequence of events to kind of get it to go out, pick up and bring it towards you. Now the other thing about the digger is that there is a spade attachment on the front, and you'll see me later pushing some of the dirt away. What I'm actually trying to do is, with the bucket, or I think that's what they call it, I'm trying to extend out, dig down and pull it back towards me, so I'm digging the ground. And this is just a method I came up with. I don't know whether this is what you're supposed to do, but so I was digging it and basically loosening all of the soil, and then once I'd done that, I would just, with the blade thingy at the front, I would just move forward and push all of the stuff that I brought towards me back over. It allowed me to sort of till the soil a little bit, and it also meant that I could get rid of high spots. You know, I could pull a high spot over to me, so then everything else was flat, and then use the tractor part of the thing to push it all back. And I went backwards and forwards quite a few times after I'd done a series of operations, because it was actually it wasn't unstable, but it's so much weight in that small area that the whole thing felt like it was moving. So it felt like the whole digger would be sort of swaying left and right, and it would tilt down as well. So sometimes I'd push all of the dirt forward, and then I'd have to rise up over it and then come down the other side. And then as I'm coming down the other side, it's like, oh! So I'd always put the arm out. So if it did fall down, it would only fall down that much. And many times I had to kind of move things, get out of the truck, get out of the digger, and sort out what was going on, kick the dirt around just to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. There were a lot of rocks again, as I was saying, but there were also tree trunks, trunks of trees that I'd ripped out with the digger the day before. And of course I took breaks. I took quite a few breaks. It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard at all to do what I was doing. The day before was hard because I was excited. It was new and I was trying to learn. Whereas the second day I was quite in such a good rhythm that I didn't really need to worry about taking long breaks because I felt comfortable and I was careful about where I was putting the digger. One thing I did do, which I can't even remember why I did it this way, I only had the GoPro camera, and so that's all of the footage you'll see. Some of it's of me in the cabin, but most of it's from my point of view. And you don't really get to see the rocking, the moving. There was vibrations there, but it wasn't extensive. The worst part about it was the seat was a vinyl seat and it was cushioned. A comfortable seat to sit in, but the vinyl had split and of course rain had got into it, so it was super wet. So I had to put a plastic bag down. I actually put about 3 plastic bags down to stop my bum, to stop my pants from getting soaking wet, which they did the day before. But the second day there, I'd kind of worked out how to avoid it with the plastic bags. There's a gap between the two trees, and when I was originally trying to find a digger, I had to measure the gap and find a digger that could fit. And that's actually 1 meter wide between those two trees. Essentially, they look like palm trees. I think they're cabbage trees or something like that. But those two trees, I didn't want to move. Definitely didn't want to move the one closest to the road because that's actually quite a tall one. And it's a bit of a landmark in the neighborhood. But the second one we were planning on cutting down, which we actually never did, and we will at some point. But I had to get through that gap, and I went through the gap the first time, the day before, and no problems. But the more I started digging out the dirt, the harder that got. Not because I was sinking, but because I was probably a lot more confident. So after I'd done it a few times, I'd actually stopped because I thought, oh, I'm gonna hit something. I did actually hit the tree. And I was trying to remember when I hit the tree and when I hit the fence. I kind of can't remember. At this point, I'm feeling like I'm pretty well done. And that was the problem with the GoPro footage. Had I set up 2 other cameras, I would have loved to. The problem was we're on a busy street. As you can see, cars are coming and going all the time. And if I put my cameras out there and I can't hear people because I'm in the digger, then unfortunately my expensive camera could go missing. So I think at this point I'm done. I think I'm finished. Yes. So I took the digger closer to the hose and I gave it a thorough clean. Now I don't know how other people deal with diggers, but I wanted to make sure that this digger was clean because it was fun. It was an expensive piece of fun, but if I ever had to do it again, and especially if I had to do it again in our situation, I would have got a digger the very first day I went out there to do any of that work. including before we got the bins. In fact, I probably would have bought the bins, hired the digger, and then just rolled the digger through everything, because the digger could just lift everything that was there. It removed most of the stones, and the stones are quite big, you know, that there were about 3 or 4 of them that there's no way I could have lifted. And unfortunately, I moved them into the big pile, and I had to find a way of getting them out. And of course I don't have the digger anymore, so I don't quite know what we're going to do about that. Because I was so happy, I actually gave it a bit of a thorough clean, and I had the GoPro up on the roof, and I kept on saying to myself, I better stop it, because I'll forget that it's there, and then they'll come and pick it up, and I'll lose all of the footage. And it was the only footage that I'd filmed. But in the end, I did actually remember that it was there. It's just raining outside. It's weird watching the footage and then seeing the sun out there. That was a really nice day. And then I can look out the window. Well, there's no window. I can look out the door and it's pouring down with rain. That sucks. I did get the pressure washer in, and I wanted to stay away from all of the hydraulics, because I don't know if there's, you know, could I force water into the hydraulics? Probably not, but I didn't really know enough about it. So I simply just used it to clean the tracks and to clean the bucket. Cleaning the tracks, though, that took a while. But anyway, that is about it. I haven't showed you how flat everything is. That'll be for the next video. But we are going to take a bit of a break from dealing with the yard. We are going to, well, we're not quite going to make some furniture. What we're going to do is we're going to make a furniture accessory. And we're actually going to make a few more in the future. So anyway, if you have ever seen one of these, now we will go and eat before I do this. Then join me next week, and you'll be able to see how I made it. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe to this video. Scribe? You don't need to subscribe. You could subscribe if you want to. I mean, you know, why not? Anyway, have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next week.